Easy people, welcome back to my channel at Big Steve MCFC. Just a little video, Monday morning. We had a pre-season game at weekend. Yokohama Marinas versus Manchester City. Out there in Tokyo. What do people think? I thought it was a good little warm-up. I think Yokohama are far down the line in their season, the second. So they're very, very fit, and match practice for them, they're quite sharp. I think they beat Celtic 6-4 last week. So they're going into the game confident. I know some of our boys have been on a bender for a few weeks and been on holiday and stuff. So it was interesting to see the levels of fitness and how we would set up. We have took a relatively small squad over to Japan. Usually there's quite a few youngsters that make the trip, and we change the team quite radically, but this wasn't the case. I know we swapped the team at half time, but it was basically the first team squad, you know what I mean, of players that were involved. So as the game panned out, first half, it didn't go to plan. You know what I mean? We found ourselves 2-0 down. Couple of stupid goals to give away. There was a couple of people online who were having a little pop at Akanji, saying, you know, he looked a little bit lost in the middle without Diaz. I think there's a bit of truth in that. I think sometimes he does get caught position-wise when he hasn't got Ruben alongside him, dragging him in. But first half performances, Cole Palmer was out on the right. John Stones was playing in the middle. Rico Lewis was on the pitch getting minutes. Alvarez was starting. Nathan Ake. So the team was strong, you know what I mean? Kovacic was making his debut in the midfield, which I thought he did okay. Calvin Phillips. And listen, we got back in the game. Obviously, we were 2-0 down. We got it back to 2-2. John Stones with a great finish. Alvarez with a goal. But the credit for Calvin Phillips chasing the goalkeeper, pressing, made a mistake, and it was a tap-in for Alvarez. So it wasn't the end of the world. Did we look a little bit rusty? Probably we did, first half. It was great to see Calvin on the pitch. I don't know if anyone has seen it, but there's a documentary on Amazon Prime, Calvin Phillips, and it's his road from Leeds to Manchester City. And it just gives you a good insight into how much of a nice guy and a family man Calvin is, and how good he had it at Leeds. To come out of his comfort zone, come to Manchester City, you could see he was nervous. And then I think Pep told him, look, all I need is you to be fit. We played Barcelona in that friendly game, which I went to in a new camp. And yeah, he got injured. And then you sort of see the frustrations of him living in his apartment in Manchester, walking his dogs around, not being involved in the matchday squad. Then he went to training again, done the shoulder again, and they had to make a decision about an operation. So Calvin Phillips, his road at Manchester City, the journey he's been on has not been smooth. So to see him out there fit, pre-season, ready to go, is a great sign. I do believe we're going to get second season syndrome. We've had it with a few players, Grealish, do you know what I mean? Maybe Mahrez, David Silva back in the day, Rodri, all Cancelo, all sort of struggled first season. So I'm one of these that's rooting for Calvin Phillips. I've been banging the drum about him all pre-season, so I'm really glad to see Calvin get minutes. And Kovacic, you know, he made his debut. He looked like he'd always played for City. Didn't look out of place. Kept it ticking along nice in the midfield. Nothing stupid, nice and steady. And I think, you know, he's going to be a really useful player. And I think when Pep Gvardiol gets into his mind and he sort of can get how Manchester City play, I do believe that Kovacic will be a shrewd signing. You know what I mean? For that kind of money, at that age, with that experience, you know, there's not a lot about, you know, like that. So I'm excited to see Kovacic in the Premier League for Manchester City, and I'm also excited to see a fully fit Calvin Phillips, you know, do his bit this season. So let me have a little bit of my brew. Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer played out on the right. Thought he did okay. Thought he was, always on the front foot, attacking the fullback. Did a couple of times. He got right into the box. Decision making at the end sometimes is lacking. I think he linked up well with Kyle Walker down there. But this is a big season for Cole. Is he going to stay? Is he going to be in and around the first team? Does Pep trust him enough to start him in big games? Does he trust him enough to come on as an impact sub if we need something? These are all the questions that, hopefully pre-season will answer. We've got games against Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid coming up, and then the Charity Shield against Arsenal. So Cole Palmer, I do believe, he started like a house on fire, that first season. He got a bad injury near the end of it. It slowed him up a little bit. Last season was a bit stop-start. He's had a great under-21s with England. He's really, really, highly rated in English football. It's just whether he's good enough to break into this first team. So with Cole Palmer, the jury's out. We'll see. Who else did I write down? Rico Lewis coming into midfield again, doing okay. Rico looks part of the first team furniture now. You know what I mean? I don't think there's any doubts that Rico Lewis is good enough. He has started in big games. It's just a case of experience with Rico. I think he's just got to keep going, doing what he's doing, keep learning, keep listening to Pep, and just keep himself in and around the first team squad and improving all the time. And there's no better place to learn. You know what I mean? So we found ourselves 2-2. Second half, completely different team. Ruben Diaz, Laporte. There was Bernardo, Foden, Haaland, Oscar Bob. All these boys came in. And second half, we looked a different animal. Rodri. We looked calm on the ball. We were knocking it around, zipping it around. 1-2, two-touch football. Plenty of crosses coming in the box for the big fella. Rodri just started where he left off. Centre midfield, bossing it. You could see Ortega zipping it into him. He was just not even looking. He was whizzing it off around the corner and moving. Oscar Bob started on the right. Thought he did okay. Listened to his interview after the game. He was a little bit hard on himself. He probably obviously wanted to impress, but he came in. He didn't look out of place. He looked steady. Phil Foden, Bernardo, all getting minutes. Bernardo went off after 30 minutes. It was a strange one. I don't know if he's carrying a knock or something, but he went off. Perone came on, did nothing wrong, just came on, ticking along nice. I think Perone, we all know he's got that passing range and that nice one touch about him where he can glide around that midfield and just keep connecting the dots. I think he did okay. And then the big man, Big Earl, you know what I mean? He was on a bit of a drought end of last season, you know what I mean? He only got 50-odd goals, but he was on a bit of a drought towards the end of the season. Good to see him get on the score sheet. A first goal where he turned, put it in the bottom corner was class. And then the second one, fantastic cross from Cancelo to the back post. He tapped it in, bread and butter. Which leads me nice onto João Cancelo. I mean, what do you guys think? Genuinely, is Cancelo back to stay, or has he burnt his bridges? I can't lie. I wasn't a favour of him coming back. I thought that he spat his dummy out. I thought that he thought the grass was greener at Bayern. He went over there. He realised he dropped a bollock, and now he's come back and he's got nowhere to go. If he knuckles down, if he apologises to Pep and does whatever he needs to do indoors and Pep's happy with him, then I'm happy for him to stay because he is a great player. We don't want any of this sulking bullshit though, mate, because as soon as he left last year, this team went on the next level. There was no bad faces. They started to tick along and we won the treble. So, Cancelo needs to realise he's lucky that he's even involved because Pep Gvardiol is one of these managers. If you upset him, he's not easily forgiving people. And two, he said some things with Tommy Tuchel. Oh, I hope I can win the Champions League and all that. I get that you're playing for Bayern, but you don't need to do them interviews. That rubbed everybody up the wrong way. We all went to Bayern Munich and we was like, fuck Cancelo. You know what I mean? We're just going to win. And you know, that's the way back. I know Cancelo's messaged a few City accounts. I know he's messaged a few accounts online. Some City fans who was only quoting him and saying what he said. He messaged them. I've seen the messages. Why are you talking bad about me? I've got nothing but respect for Man City. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't that. No, João Cancelo, you shouldn't be talking nonsense when you leave. So you can't blame the young lads for reporting it. The young lads, they're reporting it to City fans. So you might not like it, but just keep your mouth shut. But I thought he played well. I thought he did okay. I thought he was useful going forward. He was coming inside, linking the play up, and he was getting on the outside. And that first time cross, sometimes last season we missed that. And obviously he got an assist. So it'd be very interesting to see where his future lies. I do believe in the next 2 weeks there's going to be a revolving door at Man City. I think players are going to go out, players are going to come in. We're talking about players like Gvardiol, who is obviously dropping these little hints online, talking about sharks and things like that, playing, you know, why always me on his chest and things like this. So I think the Gvardiol deal is going to happen. I know from talking to someone that the player leaked the details he shouldn't have leaked, and that's what caused an issue. It's gone a bit quiet. Let's hope we can get it over the line. I do think he's going to be a massive signing for us and a great addition. Just talking about McAtee. It was good to see James McAtee out there as well, getting minutes for the first team. He's another one. Where does his future lie? Do Manchester City keep him? Do we have him in and around the squad? Is he good enough? I don't know. Leave some comments below. Let me know what you guys think. You know, we got to trust our manager. If he's part of the squad, I'll back him. But my opinion, I don't think he's quite good enough for our first team just yet. I'd like to see him go out on loan again for another season. But that's just my opinion. What else was I going to talk about? Kevin De Bruyne. Obviously, he's out there in Tokyo. He's not fit. You know, when he came out and said he'd been playing the last 3-4 games of the season carrying an injury, just shows you that Kevin De Bruyne was putting himself on the line. Good to see him out there with the lads. He was on the exercise bike at the side of the pitch. You know, I don't think Pep's going to risk him. He's just, we need De Bruyne ready for the season. So let him continue his rehabilitation out there with the boys. Let him be around the group. So don't be pressuring people thinking, why is De Bruyne not playing? He's had a bad injury, a hamstring tear. So we've got to make sure that doesn't, you know, flare up for the season. So Kevin knows what he's doing. He's working hard, and I'm sure De Bruyne will be back for Arsenal, maybe Charity Shield, or maybe first game of the season at Burnley. Been linked with a couple of players. Olise at Palace, good player. Liked him when he was at Reading. Very tricky. Looks like very laid back kind of player. Obviously got talent, but in my opinion, sometimes when I watch him, doesn't show it enough. Do you know what I mean? You see glimpses of it in the Premier League for Palace where you think he's a player in. But we can't have glimpses at Manchester City. You've got to show that all the time. Otherwise, you're not going to get in. You can't have that laid back attitude. You've got to have that winning mentality. And that's why a lot of players that Manchester City sign have got that mentality. It's in your brain. We want winners here. We don't want fancy Dans who you know, maybe, you know, they look good on the eye, but we need players that are tracking back. We need players that are getting involved. We need them players that are going to grab it with both hands, the opportunity. So it'd be interesting to see if we pursue that one. We was linked with him. Players going out the door, Taylor Harwood-Bellis. I was at the training ground on Saturday morning, did the show, Pitch Side Live. I don't know if you've seen it on the Manchester City channel on YouTube, Pitch Side Live. They had a few audio problems. The press conference in Tokyo was a whitewash. We couldn't get over there. And when we were speaking in the studio, the audio went a bit mad. But it was a good show. My first proper debut on a live show at Manchester City, really. I've done some stuff before, but this was my first time pitch side pre-season. And yeah, it was good. But when I was coming in the ground, I seen Harwood-Bellis and a few of the lads training on the Saturday morning in the rain. So I've been told he might be going to West Ham. Carlos Borges is supposed to be going out there. maybe Howard Bellis is going there. I mean, it's tricky with Howard Bellis. He's a City fan. He's one of the lads. He's been on coaches with us before, going home and away. He's had some good loan spells away from City in the Championship. He's seasoned there. He's been at Stoke. He's been at Burnley. He's been all over. So, you know, he's a great player, and he's definitely a Premier League player. But looking at our centre-back options, looking at the way we play, I don't think he gets in. So maybe a move away is on the cards, buyback option, sell-on option, all that nonsense gets put into his contract. And I think Howard Bellis can go and get a great career somewhere. I'm very surprised Vincent Kompany didn't sign him for Burnley. A lot of the Burnley lads, the fans I know, they liked him. So that was a bit, it was a bit crazy. But listen, Blues, as far as the transfer front is aware, have we got enough? Is the squad big enough, strong enough to defend these titles? Let me know in the comments. You know, do we need to go out and replace Riyad? Can Cole Palmer step it up? Can Bernardo step it up? Can Foden step it up? Can Oscar Bob step it up? We don't know. Midfield, Gundogan, Kovacic is in. Do we need somebody else in there? Or is Calvin Phillips the man? Don't know. Striker, Alvarez and Haaland. One of them gets injured, we're light up there. Do we need anyone else, or does somebody go in a false nine? There's all these questions need answering, but, you know, one thing Man City won't do is panic. They will not go and buy for buying's sake. So let me know in the comments what you think. And the next game is Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's Bayern Munich. It's 11 o'clock. It's live on Manchester City TV Plus. So you have to subscribe and recast. Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Pitchside Live is back on Manchester City YouTube channel. I'll be in the studio with Stephen McInerney and the presenter there. I think he's called Andy. I'll be with him. And we'll be talking everything about the game against Bayern Munich. We'll be covering the Yokohama friendly. We'll be talking about transfer news. And yeah, thanks for everybody that went on the Man City channel and watched me. I like all the comments. They're great for me. Manchester City see them. People saying, great to have Big Steve on. Fair play, Big Steve, being in the studio. Fantastic for me to get an opportunity to work at the club I love and to give my opinion to you guys. I couldn't have done it without you guys. There's a couple of times over the years where I'm not really a YouTube sort of guy. I was going to like give it up and just concentrate on going to the games. You know, I'm busy anyway. But people was like, no, Steve, you're the man for us. We enjoy your content. So as long as that's always the case, then you'll always get something from me. When people get bored of Big Steve and they're sick of seeing my bald head and they want me to fuck off, I'll wrap it up. But at the minute, I'm living the dream. I'm getting to work for my club, who I've supported all my life. I'm like a kid in a sweet shop when I walk in the training ground. I'm smiling my head off just to see the badge, the pitches, Vincent Kompany training pitch, Joe Hart training pitch. I walk past them all and I feel like giddy inside, like I'm a kid who's been let in a training ground. And, you know, I love it and I so look forward to it. And at the minute, I'm living the dream. And I'd like to thank everybody that always put me first. Always put my name into City. Oh, I know people emailed City and said we need Steve and that. And they've got big plans for me. Main road shows, things throughout the season. You're going to see Big Steve involved. And no, listen, I appreciate every single one of you guys that take the time to comment and stuff. Just while I'm on again, TikTok. My TikTok's flying. 17,500 on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, your kids are on TikTok, follow Big Steve on there, at Big Steve MCFC. I want to get more followers than Saeed. My Man United buddy Saeed's been on that for over a year. He's about 21k. I need to beat him. I've been on it 5 days and I'm nearly there. So let's show all these mugs that Man City's got representation. You know, you like my videos when I'm going in on people. They'll all be going on TikTok and we'll have a bit of a laugh when the season starts over there. There's a couple of competitions over there as well. You can win a Saeed Super Dry training top, a player issue one. They sent me one over. I'd never wear it, to be honest. I'm going to give it away on TikTok, so head over there. And listen, people, we're nearly at 20k. When we hit 20k on YouTube, I'm going to do a big competition. Signed Haaland shirt, something like that I'm going to give away on here. So anyone that's not following Big Steve on YouTube, give me a push, give me a nudge, get me over the line. We're about 400 off 20k. And listen, people, don't panic about signings. Relax. Things are happening at the club. Enjoy the friendlies. Bayern Munich on Wednesday, Atletico Madrid on Sunday, and then we're going to the Charity Shield. So please hit a like on the stream. Please share this to all your Man City mates. I know it's boring at the minute, but at least you can get 20 minutes with me. And I thank everybody for the support. Don't forget to tune in. Manchester City, Pitch Side Live, Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. on YouTube. Big Steve's in the studio. Love yous all. Come on, City.